Yeah, great. And I have neuroscience in here on another level than we just heard. I like the word neurocognitive performance test. I want to do that. Yes, LIF Zone or Z1, C1 is also a way for us to get Generation Z and the millennials that are used to, what somebody said yesterday in the panel, they are just using their phones. We might need to embrace that and find a way to make them able to use their phones and still be hockey fans and follow hockey. Because right now, most of them are maybe staying home and playing video games because it's too boring to be in a 2.5 hour watching hockey. So we have created a virtual arena and some of game elements into our product, which is a white label product that we can skin for any team, and it's a team-based solution. So you follow your favorite team as a fan and can do lots of cool stuff in it. And then some easy brain stuff that we used and neuroscience on that. Onsite Sport, our mission statement is combining games, and that's video games, with sports into an immersive experience and something extra. Why are we doing this? Yeah, I have some background about Generation Z and how their behaviors and how hard it is to attract them coming to games, and especially talking with Leksand, oh, you have a solution that might work, and it's so cool because we have very hard to penetrate that market and get them to go to games. They are older and older and older, the people going to games. Me and Magnus, who was supposed to be here, but now it's just me, so you have to live to that. My partner in crime started this company 3 years ago. We're a small company, and we are from the games industry, video games industry. I have over 20 years doing video games. I've released like from programmer to producer, blah, blah, blah. I've been have released 15 or 16 games throughout time, which I have been very privileged of doing. We started a company many years ago, sold it to Egmont for $1.2 billion. So I've been in a good trajectory of creating games and there for a long time. I hope you like games, and that's video games as well. Somebody here is playing. And have anybody played Mad Max? Mad Max? No? You know Mad Max? The new movie is coming now. We had a fortune to visit George Miller and make the first game and release in 2015. It was a $65 million project together with Warner Brothers and KMM. And it was so cool to sit in the Interceptor, the real one, in Sydney and try it out and make a cool game out of it. Just recently, George Miller said that he disliked the game and he said it was awful. And then all the users, the gamers came back and it's so fantastic. So yeah. I only picked 3 out of my 15 games here, but the other ones that is interesting is the Hunter, Call of the Wild, which is a hunting game, ultra realistic game. And here we tried the same business model that we have in the application and our platform. So it's the freemium model where you play with some subscription to get extra content, and of course microtransactions, in-app purchases, which is crucial and in every mobile game right now. So the kids know all about this. And then Just Cause 1, 2, 3, and 4 I was involved in, and yeah, 35 million sold copies worldwide. So it's a pretty big one. Someone must have played it. Okay, you only play hockey.
Wrong age demographic.
Maybe you've heard of it. Anyway, that together with Magnus, who is in Falun, and has for over 20 years now been educating students to become game developers. So he has a game development 2-year yrkeshögskola. I don't know what that's in English, but he has had the opportunity to start doing sport tech gamified experience together with Ericsson, which the first one was the Falun 2015 World Championship, where they released that, and so the fans could follow the team on their mobile phone at the same time as following the team with cameras and everything. And that also led to Winter Olympics in Pyongyang, because 1 year after, there were some Koreans knocking on his door and said, "We need help to build this for Winter Olympics," also together with Ericsson. He also been involved with Ericsson to the gamifying the experience and have a companion app regarding Al Wakra Stadion for the soccer championship, the opening of the stadium. Unfortunately, the wrong telco company got the deal, so we couldn't get the full championship. And we have had 2 years in a row a big demo at Mobile World Congress together with Ericsson on their special floor, which is also called the Hero demo, because it's one of the biggest one, regarding fan engagement and the possibilities with the new 5G possibilities of slicing and everything to monetize even more for telcos with the new technique coming out. So Leksands IF has been there for 2 years now on the show floor together with Ericsson. And that prototype and what we have done there and the platform we have built on top of this is what we are working on right now, and I'm going to tell you more about. But first, let's look at generation time spending, leisure time spending. Here we see some interesting stuff about each generation. Generation C is 10 to 25, and then a chunk of millennials up to 35, and on top of that, Generation X and baby boomers. They stop reading, almost, and 25% is spending leisure time on playing games right now on Generation C. And they're not watching broadcasted TV or anything like that. It's OTT and Netflix and whatever. It's very interesting. So that's why we combine games with sport, because this is the way to attract this generation, we think. And soon they will grow up and they won't stop gaming. We also have a research from TISA Research 2022. It was 10 to 25-year soccer fans from Wolverhampton, Real Sociedad, I think it was, and Warsaw something, for biggest one in Poland. 98% of these want video content. This is the YouTube generation. They don't read text. They consume everything video. 72% is already dual screening. You know, they are multitasking like maybe of us older can't do. We are sequential. They can do stuff at the same time. Maybe it has to do with the brain. It's interesting to see difference there. And 87% of them were gaming at least 1 hour a day. That's the definition of gaming. Mini games, whatever. Betting was not in here. It was gaming. So this is a 3 important pillar to our platform that we have built. A sport fan engagement platform focusing on the gaming generation. That was our goal. I must say here that we have GIF animations here of the 30 frames per second screen working on the phone. So it's 10 frames per second. So it's laggy, but I still wanted to have like moving picture because it's so much. You're entering a game. You're entering Tegera Arena, the Leksand Arena, a twin copy of it in 3D, and you can zoom around, do whatever you want, and there's lots of stuff happening, rewarding, and I'm going to go into that. So it's a full feature game feeling application of the actual team. Appealing to the younger generation. We have features. What you really do here is that you do stuff in the application, interactions, watching movie clips, exclusive content, whatever, and then you score for doing that. You get rewarded for doing that. So we have different layers of gamified elements that appeal to this younger generation for doing stuff and interacting. So it's more of a sense of pull than push that we want to see. You don't push out, this is what you get. It's more interaction we're seeking here. Let's go into the brain. We have heard lots of cool stuff about it, and I'm going to do a recap on that, but on a more my level, let's put it that. Let's have some fun facts. 60% fat. It's the fat in the brain that actually makes our performance. So it's actually the fattiest is the good word, fattiest thing on the whole body. It's even better than the stomach, apparently. Most fat. Neocortex is 80% of the brain. It's the big part, the thinking brain, it's called. It's grown up to full size at around 6 years old, developed up to 25 years old, starts to shrink at 30 years old. Too bad. But experience is something else, isn't it? But remembering is a problem, isn't it? 10 billion operations per second is capable of, though not multitasking. It's all one thing at a time. It uses lots of energy, and that's why we get tired. It consumes 25% of the body energy to think and do everything we do. And it works best when sleeping, because then it's do the sorting and organizing inside here. So it's good to have a power nap once in a while. A little bit more, I think you put it pretty well, but the neocortex is the thinking brain. Here we have the problem solving. We tend to not go in here so much to this zone because we are staying at the limbic system. We do decisions and interaction more on affective and empathy and you know, sorting away the rational thinking because it consumes so much energy. And then we have of course, the first one, the fight and flight part. It's a snake thing. You have it built into your body that you behave a certain way to save yourself or fight it. Also to simplify it, the core attributes of the brain, I call it the lazy brain. The brain automatically deletes information because it consumes so much energy, it needs to delete so much. Now when you're sitting here, you're starting to think about something else, you can't focus on more things. It's really need to focus, to be focused. And that's why the test is interesting that way. And I'll ask that question in a way, because it's easy for it to get stuck on focusing and remove. You can even start to focus on a problem and it becomes a problem instead of, it doesn't have to be that. It's the brain playing you, kind of. It's good at distorting. Have you heard your wife said, like, you never do the dishes? And I sometimes do it, but it likes to exaggerate and say it. You never do it, and you always do that. We like to do that. I think you can recognize that. And that's the power of the brain. And also, we are programmed, so we generalize. So if we have seen or heard or anything, it's from a long heritage. I mean, a shark, we are still afraid of a shark, and it's 1 to 4 million to be hurt by a shark, but it's 1 to 84, I think it is, to be hurt by a car in a car accident. But we are not afraid of cars in a way, but we're still afraid of sharks because they were dangerous way back. So I have a model here that is maybe not the benchmark of what we heard before me, but I stuck into David Rock that 2009 brought the SCARF model, an acronym for a simplified way, and he started a neuro leadership science program, and he also used this for leadership and change management stuff. And since I've been working and building companies, I've been stuck into leadership, and I like this model a lot. So I've used it on operational level and building and communicating. And it is defined domains that you look at. It's status. Am I valuable? Certainty. I know where I'm heading. Autonomy. I have a choice. Relatedness, I belong. And lastly, fairness, I'm treated with respect and I'm valued. So what David is saying here is that we need to minimize danger because the brain behaves that way, and maximize reward when it comes to these 5 domains. For instance, relatedness is a good one. We know what Facebook, you want to have as many likes as possible. Then you feel, oh, it's cool. You get kind of the oxytocin, the love hormone kicks out of it because you feel that you have a belonging. Fairness is also, you want to belong and think it's a good and fair environment. So can this be used in design as well? I think we can use the SCARF model, creating a good experience, user experience. So we have done that with our LIF Zone and our platform on these levels. But first, let's look at the core game loop and the power of collecting. You know, at least you know Pokemon, the game. Yeah? Yeah. Over 10 years, it's still like 200 million monthly active users, and it's over 10 years old. And it's really, really good because it gets the kids to, and adults to, move around and seek the Pokemons and throw the ball, you know. The mechanism is a core game loop of doing interaction, which is throwing the ball. Then you get a reward, poof, you collect the Pokemon. And with that Pokemon, you do some expansion and can evolve them and have better balls and everything. So it's a traditional game loop is usually interaction, reward, and expansion. So that we have in our, as a core thing in our application. It's you do stuff in here, you get rewarded, lots of reward for doing stuff. And with that, you can build your avatar and build up your profile of a cool, how cool you are as a Leksands IF fan. And you collect cards of the teams as one of the rewards. So you get like the men's team, the women's team, the junior teams, the women junior, as well as icons and heroes. Of course, the same way as FIFA and EA Sports has done with NHL and FIFA. So going back to the SCARF model and the status domain, what we have in here is what we call my LIF, which is a user profile where you see your avatar. You have created your own jersey. You have decided what color you want on it, which version, and you see stats that belongs to you, which means that you are exposing attributes of the status of you, and you can show off in a way in the leaderboard later on. And you build up your own card collection and have a status on that, because I received that player and he received that player, and I want to find him because he's my dad's uncle or whatever. So it's a gaining status to build up your collection. On the certainty, we have rewards and the virtual arena. As I said, we have lots of progression in here. So every time you do something cool, you get rewarded with a dopamine kick of gaming, lots of confetti kind of thing. You get loot boxes, you get rewarded, you get things for your avatar, whatever it is. And as well as we have a team branded replica 3D twin arena of LIF Zone where stuff is happening on the ice. And we are integrating that also with the mini games. So when you start a mini game in here, that is a team branded hockey game. You go down to the arena in 3D and play it there at the actual arena, at the actual virtual arena. And with statistics and measurement later on, we can have stuff happening in the virtual arena at the same time. And autonomy, lots of customization. The kids love it. They want to decide themselves how they look and how they feel. So you can change banners, you customize your avatar. We have ambitions to expand on that with the digital store and everything. So you can buy digital assets to build up your avatar. Build up your own player that is in this universe and be as cool as possible because you have cooler stuff. And we go with the device. We go with, if you can see it, you can poke it. So we try to have everything in here as interactive as possible. So if you see, for instance, a jersey, you start to scrub it and it's in 3D. Stuff happening. When it comes to relatedness, we have leaderboards, which is very much used, we've seen when we have done research. Everybody go in and look how they compare towards the other fans, and they want to be on top of the leaderboard. We have a dedication score, which is that you, from Snapchat, every time you enter, every day you enter, you get build up LIF Zone dedication. And I think we have some people on the leaderboard that has like 90 or 95, since we have the early access, which we released the 24th of February this year. So we have 400 users right now using it and helping us find problems and build it, to make it even better. And also the polls is in there. So we have the user-friendly polls where you answer on questions specific you want to have the collective view of the fans. Appreciated. And on the fairness, we have worked pretty hard on balancing the progression loop. So it's you get the kick of every time you go in there, it's something happening. So you don't get bored in here, because it shouldn't be a boring homepage. It should be something happening every time you enter. And as I said, we have incorporated 3 mini games as well. So here you see one of them. So it's a hockey version of some simplified Tetris hockey or whatever. So we have a Zamboni game where you run around on the ice and play with the Zamboni and get score and rewards. And also we have the old Arkanoid game that we have hockeyfied, let's say it so. We tested this on with NPS, Net Promoter Score, with a group of 30 people over half a year ago to get some feedback. You know, NPS, you remove the passives, 7 and 8s, and you have the ambassadors that score 10 to 9, and then the negative ones, the detractors, are 6 to 0. And then you get a score between -100 and +100. And looking at comparison to that, we looked at a big website in the US. I don't have the data on it here. They have Generation C have scored scores 11 on TikTok, which they use all the time. But on the question, do you recommend this to a friend? YouTube get 19, PlayStation brand get 33, and our tests actually scored 36 on our first test. So we think we are on the right way to actually finding what this generation likes. So my takeaway to end this is, if you leverage brain science to create user experience to delight the brain, your user will start to love you. Okay?
Questions?
No questions.
So do you have some insights how TikTok scored so poorly but still is so successful?
I'm afraid not. Maybe it's because it was an American survey. Could be. I'm guessing now. And they don't like TikTok, we know.
Question about which are the departments or the people at LIF Zone that are involved? Are players involved, for instance, in sort of voting that you talk about, what kind of characteristics, or I don't know, what kind of food they prefer? Is the advertising department involved? In what way does the team work with you?
Contribute, yeah. We have had early discussions with the junior team, and they have been involved and tried this out and helped. And the feedback we got from them was, create more mini games. So we started to do that. They wanted games, but we wanted to find a way for them to start creating content, because it's content going in here should be more of YouTube, social media kind of content that the Generation Z wants to look at, of course, and more towards that. And that has a bit started. So they have started to do some special. One of the goal is Marcus is doing some special content for this application, but it's the marketing content manager that will handle it. So we are working closely with him right now to be as prepared as possible when we fully release it in end of August for all the fans. But you can still come to me and try the application on my iPhone and play some mini games if you want. And I love to brand it to Linköping och Färjestad right now. If you're interested, or NHL clubs.
How much happens during the actual game when the fans are in the arena? And is there any interaction between what is going on the ice and what's happening?
We have of course tried polls, short polls in the downtime between and intermissions and everything, and that kind of works. We need to find a way, to get the user to understand, go in now, because now it's stuff happening, because we have taken away all the nag thing with the push notification and stuff. We might incorporate it, but we try as long as possible to remove that, because people tend to hate it. Again, the feeling of certainty and or the scarf model. But we also have a 5G, as I said, we're working with Ericsson. We also have a 5G setup in Leksand right now, where we have the possibility for the people that have tickets in the game to have extra cameras while the game is playing. So fan cameras around the environment. But it has to be improved in 5G. So we're going to start to give that to the lounges and the VIPs to begin with, the possibility to use the app there, because it's not scalable to the whole arena yet. But when 5G is released, it will